Nidalee, and Shen. All-in carry banning out Karthus, Nocturne, and of course, Twisted Fate. So,
do we know the order of the picks?
yes, we do, and I will go over them very shortly.
Well, I was just wondering, was Ari picked kind of early for all-in?
No, she was not. She was actually picked in the second set.
Okay.
So it was first pick Alistar. ALC responds with Lee Sin Skarner.
Yeah.
Dragons does Malphite Ashe, then Graves Ari for ALC.
I'm just going to assume in general, though, that they recognize that ALC, they have been playing a lot of Ari, and we saw that in the previous match, and we have seen it in the past. So as a result, they're like, oh, well, Ari beats Gragas. The mobility in team fights is just, it's terrible. And that, I mean, terrible isn't like a good thing. Ari, has a lot of mobility and can win those fights very easily. So as a result, TT Dragons, they didn't want to pick themselves into a hole and, make that Gragas pick. So actually going with Mordekaiser, which we'll get into that in a second, is an interesting pick. But all-in carry coming for the aggressive invade. Ashe sitting on the bottom half of the bush should be okay.
Will she know? She'll know. If she does, she'll know the last possible second going around that corner. But look at her positioning. It's pretty well. Should keep her safe from a blitz grab if he goes for it.
He's just going to do a blind grab. He's going to get it. Oh, wow.
How did that not grab? How did
she was just barely out of range, and so that was the threat, was that Blitz would do a blind grab into the bush, and Ashe would have no way of getting out. She could have flashed over the wall maybe if he had gotten the hook, but the follow-up charm from Ari, and so barely she gets out of there, so very narrowly escaping with her life.
Yikes! That was centimeters. That was millimeters away from just. Wow.
But it is interesting to see TT's team because they still have a fantastic initiation team. And that's something that we've seen from them in the past. They have Ashe for the initiation, Malphite and Alistar. So they have all this great initiation and AoE. They almost get to decide when the fights are going to happen. Ari has some as well. Skarner, not that strong, but Blitzcrank and Ari, they will have to watch out for that. But TT Dragons, they have in the mid lane a champion that can just power farm, and that's what Gragas is. That's what Mordekaiser is. They're both power farmers. And then if they get their initiation off in a fight, and they hit someone with the Ashe arrow, and then follow up with the Malphite and the Alistar, and at some point in that time get off the Mordekaiser ultimate, the person's going to die. Now it's a 6v4 situation, and they're just going to be so tanky. So it is kind of a nice team fight.
There's the ward in the bush. Alistar getting pretty aggressive. I think he was looking for something. Actually, he still hasn't even bought his first skill yet. But Lee Sin, top lane, against the Malphite, mutual shielding. And there you go. There's the aggression coming in from Mord. Quick shots down onto Ari. But Skarner is laying in wait. Does have the blue buff. Hasn't gotten his red yet. He just wants to see how aggressively Mord is going to push because that's what Mord usually does. But he knows there is a ward over by the Wraiths. Saw Skarner coming in, looks to back off. Some free harass from Lee Sin going down on a Malphite.
The Mord versus Ari matchup. Ari actually has a little bit of an advantage early on, and then if she can hit 6 before Mord, that's when you look for your kills. It's a very small timing window almost. But Mord, he actually counters out a lot of AP carries, and Ari is one of them. So Ari, she has a lot of burst damage, but Mord counters that with her shield, and then she doesn't have enough follow up after her burst damage. So she uses all of her abilities, and she's like, oh well, okay, now what? So Mord will be pretty safe in that lane. But the key is going to be if Skarner can kind of harass that lane or try and get some ganks early on, while Mord is out of position, he is very squishy early and very vulnerable to ganks. And so if Ari hits 6 first, then she can dive him. She can, try pick up a kill before he hits 6. But once he hits 6, he's actually going to be pretty safe, and that's going to be tough for them in that lane.
Yeah, and Mord, he is a champ of just pretty much pure damage. The only remote CC that a Mord will usually ever get is if he later on decides to build into something like a Rylai's or a Gunblade. And until then, he's just damage. That's all he is. He's damage, he's pushing waves, and he's being metal the entire time he's doing it.
Oh, super metal.
Super metal.
In the meantime, Skarner is making his way down bottom, though, so they will have to watch out for that. Skarner's ganks aren't very strong, but he actually has a lot of damage if he can get right up onto Ashe, and she is way out of position.
Oh, but there's the pulverize from Alistar. We managed to keep him still, though.
Wow.
I'm actually surprised they actually didn't see just headbutt him backwards into the turret, actually.
Yeah, no, but the issue is if they did that, they have no follow-up CC, and then Skarner would get a slow, and then Blitzcrank would get a pull, and they would have died. But it was a nice job getting out of there, avoiding that gank. They're able to back off. Mordekaiser, he will, as the game progresses, start to steal wraiths from both his own jungle and the enemy jungle. And so a lot of times against Mordekaiser, you want to get wards in the river to kind of prevent that and then gank him when he does that. And he will have to watch out against Ahri because of her mobility. So he might, tend to stick in the mid lane a little bit more than you would expect from a normal Mordekaiser.
But things like you also have Maokai, who's actually a pretty damn good ganker in his own right. He has the Twisted Advance, and he's go ahead be more than enough CC to keep anyone still. The exhaust going down onto Graves, but Blitz is a little bit too far out. Twisted Advance going down onto the robot. The exhaust going down as well. I think this should be more than enough damage. There you go. First blood onto support. Alistar going to be going home with a little bit extra money in his wallet. Yeah,
and I think Alistar was holding off on it in a second to try and get that to Ashe, because Ashe, they needed to wait until they had vision in the bush, but he was so close to getting a flash over that wall and just getting over the angle of the wall that they needed to take him down quickly. Lee Sin doing a really nice job in this lane. Now, both Lee Sin and Malphite, they're kind of similar champions in that they have the attack speed slow. They're generally pretty tanky. They have the shields. But Lee Sin, because he's energy-based and because he can throw up his shield on command, has a little bit of an advantage early on. As it progresses, once Malphite gets enough mana to spam constantly, he will be able to push around Lee Sin a little bit. He will be tanky enough where Lee Sin can't really do a whole lot in that lane.
And also what a very well-coordinated Lee Sin can do as well is that, if he's, actually, what is he leveling up first? He's actually leveling up the Q first, so he wants that damage for the harass. But sometimes you'll see a Lee Sin top lane actually max out the shield first and shield out minions that are looking to be last hit to just, put in that extra annoyance on top of all the harass damage he's getting down.
Yeah, and then they're also almost unkillable to your harass. So
pretty much.
Yeah, it works either way. You also get a lot of regen from the shield, but maxing the Q first is a little bit more common. You do, in a lot of situations, get the shield, but it gives you more damage against someone like Malphite. You can kind of burst him down. And Mord going for those wraiths, Ahri kind of knows she's there.
Ahri is 6, but pings go down, was spotted. And, now it might be the right time. It's like, you might want to consider that ward investment over by the Dragon's Wraiths, just so you can go ahead that next time you can go ahead and secure that a little bit more safer and not get spotted out in the process. But Ahri is 6, does have the rush, can't get that damage.
Yeah, and the big issue, for Theory is going to be the mobility of all lane, for TT is the mobility of all lane, and all lane, both Graves and Ahri, they can kind of move around a little bit if they can dodge some of that
going
damage.
Down mid on the Mord, a little bit of harass there.
Yeah, if they can dodge some of that damage and avoid the initiation, then they can maybe take advantage of these fights. Mord can be kited very easily in fights, and if Ahri gets the charm onto Mord, he will go down. The concern is that TT, they can just constantly play defensively and then just wait for an Ashe arrow for initiation later. Yeah. And then we'll see, if Maokai starts to make his way bottom, because Ashe is about to hit 6. Once she hits 6, that opens up some ganks bottom as well.
Yeah, that Ashe arrow from really anywhere on the map can just do so much. Plus, you have all this follow-up CC. You have the Twisted Advance. You have the Pulverize. You have the Headbutt. And later on, you have the Malphite ult as well. That can be absolutely devastating later on. But you have to get there first. And right now, you still only have the first blood on Alistar in bot. He actually just still stocking up on wards. He got the boots first. So he's going to go ahead and you got the boost, he's got the Fairy Charm, doesn't have the Philo Stone yet, but Oracles, early Oracles from Maokai, good decision. You saw Ahri earlier looking to go try and get that kill on Mortis as he was going for the Wraiths. That's going to go ahead and keep him that much safer.
Yeah, and Maokai can clear out a number of wards and to try and continue to put on this pressure. He's actually making his way down into the bottom lane, and Ashe does have that arrow, is level 6. They do see him, so Graves is going to play defensively. He can clear out the ward, back off. But in the meantime, Malphite, that spam, has been working out pretty successfully against Lee Sin now, but Lee Sin, generally speaking, is going to be pretty safe in that lane.
Yep. Also, let's take a quick look at the farm here as well. Top lane, pretty even. Bot lane, pretty even. Every lane, pretty damn even. You also see the Mord actually ended up getting the Negatron cloak as well to try and make
the Ashe arrow
going down bot onto the Graves. He is exhausted as well. Will he manage to get away from this one? The sapling will be enough. There you go. But meanwhile, in the mid, we're going to rewind just for a second because we had 2 fights going on at the same time here. The charm going down onto Mord, the ignite as well. Mord ult going down to Ahri. The Spirit Rush is trying to do as much damage as possible, but can Mord come back from this? I don't think he can. The charm keeping him still. One for mid, for one in bot.
That's the nice thing about Skarner is he has a little bit more sustained damage than Ahri. So Ahri, you saw Mord, Ari has a little bit of burst damage, but Mord wasn't quite bursted down as much as you would expect from an Ari usually. But it was the sustained damage from Skarner that was able to kill him. Just that constant Q harass and chasing him down. So they are able to get the kill. And Mord, he is kind of squishy early on. So, if you can catch him out of position, chase him down, then you can definitely pick those up. Yep. Malphite has the ultimate in this top lane, though, and he has constantly been wearing down Lee Sin to the point where Lee Sin needs to worry about the Malphite, ulting and then right into the Ignite.
Once that shield goes down, something rare you go. Waited for the shield. There's the Ignite. There's a harass. The Ignite goes down. Will the shield be enough to prevent it? Wow, yes, it is. 19 health.
Yeah,
walking away from
just
that.
barely able to grab that. If he had just walked up and thrown off an attack or something first, he probably would have been able to do it. But Lee Sin just barely getting out of there. I think Malphite, was pretty confident that he was going to have that. But now this is a point where Mord can start abusing Ari a little bit. And,
yep.
We did just see the kill onto Mord. So he does have to watch out. He does have to play defensively. But as long as he has wards in the river to watch for Skarner, he's going to be okay. And then he can just stand up front, not have to worry about Ari dealing any damage to him, and then just constantly hit her in the face with his E, with his, Q.
Yep.
Just constantly harass her down.
And he's also going to be a little bit more sustaining in the mid as well, because he does have the revolver now. So he now has that spell vamp. You can go ahead. He's going to regain a little bit on those spammed abilities. And there you go. Ping's going down onto Ari and onto Malphite. They are both a little bit out of position. Lee Sin trying to make something. He's trying to get back into the lane. But there you go. Ari was spotted. But there you go. There's a ward right there on the top of that ramp. Mord does, take a little bit of harass in the meantime as he's going to pick up those wraiths.
Oh, the hook on the Ashe.
On the Ashe. He's so far out of position now. Easy kill for Graves. Alistar, can you get away from this one? I'm not sure if you can, though. Blitzy's in pursuit. There is the pop-up. They're still diving in on this. There's the flash and the buckshot auto attack. Graves does get it. Very well done. But Lee Sin, once again, top is Mord. Malphite ult back up.
The sapling.
Oh! Oh my god!
Yeah, Maokai walked up and threw a sapling over the wall.
I'm sorry. We're watching that again because it's not every day.
I was just surprised that Ashe and Alistar, they were just standing there like they didn't mean anything.
Wow. Boom.
Yeah.
That is unfortunate.
Yeah, really heads-up play from Maokai. And Malphite, his ult is up. He doesn't have the Ignite this time, so he doesn't quite have enough damage. He will play kind of conservatively here for a second, but the constant harass on Lee Sin, he's able to push him around a little bit. The Oracles on Skarner as well, he can clear out some wards, but Lee Sin has to back once again, and Malphite is now in complete control of this lane.
He's now edging out in the creep lead. He's getting ready to build into that Glacial Shroud into the Frozen Heart as well. So he's going to be a little bit more tanky and sustain against Lee Sin a little bit better as well. But he's still, granted, that's a Mana Crystal is going to increase in his pool, but not his regen. So he's still going to have some mana issues, but the harass right now is such where I don't think it even really matters. Meanwhile, Mord in mid still looking to farm. But, Ari right now, it's still keeping up. Still keeping up despite being top lane and trying to camp out this Malphite. But, well, it's kind of an opportunity. There we go. There's the charm. Still happen to be in that bush looking for the recall. The orb getting a lot of damage in. Auto attacks just come in, and here's the rush. There's the flash. They want this kill. Ari taking the tower. There you go.
Yeah, really nice job there, sitting in the bush. And the second she saw him walk in, she's like, all right, let me just count this off, this recall, and then I can pick him off.
Yep.
And now, yeah, really nice job. And that's the thing that, all lane carry is going to thrive at right now is that mobility with the Ari. And if they can pick up kills with the Ari, then a lot of the lanes for TT can be vulnerable. But once TT can start forcing fights, they will be at a nice advantage there as long as they keep the game even until that point. And right now they do have a slight lead. Skarner in the bottom lane wants to see if he can get an engage with that Blitzcrank hook. But, Ashe is defensive enough that they'll probably be able to sit back.
I kind of want to call this game warding wars because there's just both jungles with the oracles. There's just a massive amount of wards going down from both teams. Maokai, Kenny, there you go. The flash, the twisted advance down onto Ari, throws down the ult. The Mord ult is there as well, and Skarner's just a tad too late to the party. But Blitz is still around, but he's on his own. He's not going to be able to do too much in terms of plays. But Dragon is up. They got the Fox Ghost. There you go. That is a dragon for the Dragons.
Yes, they will be able to pick this up, continue their gold lead. And, up front in personal, TT Dragons, they have a huge advantage over ALC. ALC, they can't force any fights. They need to just pick people off, have that single target. Skarner, not someone you see a lot on the NA or EU scene, but over in Asia, I know he's been played a lot, and he always has that snowballing potential. He has that single target pick-off where you can pick up kills around the map and use that mobility to your advantage. Late game, he is incredibly tanky and has a lot of sustained damage. So that's something that they're going to have to watch out for there as well. But I don't know, we'll have to see. Mordekaiser, for a while, he will have to worry in team fights because just the CC from ALC will be able to deny him some. Lee Sin throwing off the sleeve onto Malphite. Not a lot that's going to happen here. The slow, he does kick into him. He has the red buff, so Malphite actually going to pursue him a little bit, but they will kind of both back and then go into that lane.
Just trying to force out as many abilities as possible, looking for all that extra harass. Blitz waiting there in the bot bush in bot lane, seeing what he can grab. Maokai is making his presence known. There you go, sapling first, always. You want to get your vision before you go and engage on a target, before you go and engage in somewhere with very little vision, such as that bush. The hawk shot from Ash also revealing blitz as well. Meanwhile, in mid, Mord is he's edging out just a little bit. Okay, so he's got the revolver, and he's also got the abyssal, which means he's going to be doing a bunch of damage right now to Ahri as well. But Ahri, she knows she's building her own. You also got the Sork boots as well. Mord, he's only still on his tier 1 boots. He's still a little bit slow. He doesn't have that extra magic pen available to him. But Ahri, one of her keys, you got to be mobile. Tier 2 boots in addition to the ult.
Oh, with the red buff, Lee Sin is
wow.
crushing Malphite though, and he has the ultimate, the kick. Malphite actually ulting first and picks him up.
Wow.
Lee Sin, he didn't even throw off his ultimate. He had the kill if he had just thrown off his ultimate and just holding on to it a little bit too long.
Yeah, I'm confused actually a little bit as to why it is. He was 11, so his level 2 ult. It does quite a bit of damage, but oh well.
Yeah, they were both kind of just wearing each other down. Actually, the mid arrow, will it hit Ahri? Yes, it hits Ahri. And there's the goal. Mordekaiser will be able to pick this up. No, Ahri able to dash out of there.
Mord's ult was down. Now it just came. Or no, was it? No, actually no, it was up. I thought the little timer was just
he just recognized he didn't quite have enough damage. His ignite was down. If the ignite was up, he would have had that kill, but just Ahri being able to get out of there. But Ahri, the ult is down. So, that was the big concern for TT right now is Ahri. And with the ult down, not really that much of a concern. They can sit back, farm, and continue to push the late game.
Yep, but Ahri will back. Now has an Abyssal Scepter of her own. So it's a little bit extra magic damage, a little bit extra magic resist, and the magic pen. But, yeah, so right now, everyone's still back to farming. Alistar looking to return. There you go. Mord has been caught, has been impaled. Ahri keeping him still, does take a few free turret shots, but here comes the ult from Maokai, protecting Mord just as long enough as he needs. And now Skarner's regretting the decision. That shield doing a lot for Mord. That saved his butt huge.
Yeah, and the Ash Arrow with the Ahri ult being blown, that saved his butt too, because Ahri just didn't have enough damage.
No.
He was able to just kind of sit there and tank them, so really nice play. Skarner almost going down as well. They get the turret. Malphite pressuring Lee Sin up top, and Lee Sin kind of missing his opportunity because now...
where's that red buff now?
With that red buff, Malphite is just going to absolutely blow him out of the water here.
And here comes Maokai to help secure his kill, and Malphite, he's going in as there's the kick, but here you go, twisted advance, flash, ult, can you get this kill? Lee Sin, he's trying to stay safe, does get the shield down onto him, and he wants, there we go, ground slam, pancake. Have some breakfast.
Yeah, so they were able to pick that up. Skarner and Blitzcrank coming up, though. I'm not sure they... Wow, the miss flash from Blitzcrank. He tried to get over the wall, couldn't get it. So they are going to be able to get out of there. Skarner just barely trying to get in for the pull. Cannot do it. Blitzcrank missed his flash.
Yeah,
wow.
Little bit of a fail flash, because I know he probably tried to just get... He wanted to get over this wall somehow. And just not able to close that gap, unfortunately. Alistar, there you go, from behind, trying to get all the damage necessary onto Graves. Ash, will you go down this? The volley, auto tech does it. 1 for 1 in terms of the carries down bot, but you got the, you have a kill and assist though for Dragons, so the edge out just ever so slightly.
Well, and Graves should be beating Ash 1v1 at this point in time, so it gets Ash further and further into those late game builds. Ash actually has an Infinity Edge when Graves doesn't yet, so
that's
Ash a little bit ahead in damage will be that will be really nice in team fights. They get another turret down, and they can kind of continue to farm, but if they want to, then they can just start making their way towards objectives. Dragon should be up. around 21, I think. So, they'll probably make their way down for that shortly.
So, but Skarner still has the oracles. Maokai still has the oracles, and all this ward coverage is just, and I've mentioned this before, I'll mention again, just because the enemy team has oracles doesn't mean you stop buying wards. You still place them down. You still want vision at, very, important places on the map. Even if they're cleared, that still gives you plenty of information. But it's still, these junglers are, if they get killed, that's going to be a huge liability.
Yeah, so we'll have to see. All right, going to be able to pick up this blue. Everyone is kind of grouping around that dragon, so it should be up shortly. And at this point in time, the team fight strength is for TT Dragons. They have all the initiation. They have all that upfront damage. Mord is very strong. But, if Blitzcrank gets a hook on someone, then they can quickly burst them down. And then all of a sudden, all-in carry can win these fights. The Sapperlings going to, keep them alive there. Will be able to keep some vision. But the Oracles on Skarner allows them to kind of press them out a little bit.
Dragon respawns. Dragons are getting in position, but all-in carry, they know they're nearby. They saw the wards, they cleared them out. There you go, Skarner peeks in, and they know Dragon is being attempted. The thing is, though, is there enough damage from the Dragons to actually take it out quickly enough? There comes the Ash Arrow through the field goal posts, not getting anyone, but they get their objective and they walk out.
The big thing was that was a defensive Ash Arrow, and so, Ash didn't necessarily need to catch anyone off. If all-in carry was just sitting back, not doing anything, and Ash had hit someone, then they wouldn't have followed up on it. They would have been like, okay, I hit someone, whatever, let's continue with the dragon. But they were fine with taking the dragon, and they recognize if all-in carry wants to engage on us, they're going to be walking right down this area, and then I'm going to hit them with an arrow to the face. So it was a defensive arrow. It wasn't necessary, but it was for zoning, and so it was a really nice zoning play. Now they can transition into this top lane. They can take down this top tower. Skarner at least center here, but they shouldn't have enough damage by themselves.
Alistar's in position, too, for the counter gank as well. Ward going down in the bush, and now his cover has been blown. He needs to go a long way around to get back to the top lane. But there's enough time blown. Top tier 1 goes down.
Yeah, and 4 members for ALC grouping up in the top lane, but don't have a fight for them. So, they are kind of just wasting their time for a second here. In the meanwhile, Mord is, just stronger and stronger by the second. 220 CS, 21 minutes in. He has the Abyssal Scepter, so that helps a lot with the magic damage for his team. They can, burst people down as well as, making himself tankier. And then going with a DFG. Wow. So
that's a lot.
Yeah, he's really just looking to insta-kill someone. And they have the initiation team, so they're going to initiate on someone. They are going to insta-kill them, maybe even insta-kill 2 people, and then just be too tanky. And that's the thought, is after they kill 1 or 2 people, they're just going to be too tanky for the rest of ALC to deal with.
So basically, if Dragons gets the initiation they want from Alistar or Malphite or anyone, the fight instantly becomes a 6v4, period.
Yeah.
Pretty much. So, but Skarner still farming up the Wraiths. In light of all this pressure, Maokai's a little bit out of position. No, twisted advance a little bit too far in enemy territory, but there's the Ash Arrow to follow everything up, and there's Mord. Can he get that gib that he wants? There you go. Blitz does go down. DFG hasn't even been used yet. They don't even really need to, but Lee Sin out of position, though. He's so far away from the rest of the team. Twisted advance, keeping him still. Will they get a Lee Sin ghost, maybe? There you go. Our Ash managed to get that kill, and Ari going down as well.
Lee Sin just got himself killed and got Ari killed.
Yeah.
Just walking into the fight for no reason, it seems, trying to pick up the kill onto Ash.
And that's a
I
Baron.
think he thought that the rest of TT Dragons was going to be a little bit distracted, trying to chase down Skarner, so he wanted to get in the backside, but very easily they can grab the Baron. Skarner was a little bit too tanky for them to instantly burst down, but even so, he was, negligible. His presence in that fight was just, he was almost non-existent because of how quickly he went down. Ash will have the arrow up in another, 20 seconds, so it's such a short cooldown on that ultimate, and then he, can throw it off again, try and pick up another kill.
However, Skarner did not die.
Yep.
Still has the oracles. Can still go ahead and clear out all the wards in their own jungle for the next minute or so right now, while Dragons are actually go back to base, buy, heal up, and reassemble for their next big push. Meanwhile, top lane, Malphite still pushing. He's gonna be going back. He's got his frozen heart. Let's think of. Also, want to take a look at gold. How much is what's everyone's considered purchase here? Because Ash can go ahead, start to continue the build onto the Phantom Dancer as well. Malphite, he can. He's got the giant spell. He's got the health. He's pretty set. And Mordekaiser's he's got really all the damage he needs. Like, he can go and build into Woda. He can go for a death cap either. Just pure damage is really all he needs now.
Yeah, so we'll see. You know, but the big issue is that ALC, they don't have a means of, you know, killing anyone, basically, for TT Dragons. So they can clear waves fairly easily with Ari. Ari and Graves can both clear the waves, so they can stall off for a little bit, but I wouldn't be surprised to see TT Dragons just push right up the mid lane and then ult someone underneath the tower, win a fight really quickly, and then continue to push.
And they have the CC for it, they have the tankiness for it, and Blitz, he's out there, but you know, you don't want to be pulling an Alistar. That could be a huge, huge mistake. And that's the thing, too. You know, Alistar, well, Blitzcrank, anyone he grabs could actually just put ALC at a huge disadvantage here because you're more than likely going to be grabbing an initiator here.
Yeah, it's a 4-tank team and Ashe.
It's a very unfortunate position to be in as the robot with the hooks. But you see, the wave is more than enough coverage for Ashe to go ahead and get a few quick pot shots on the turret. And they're going to be doing this every single time a creep wave comes on up. They're going to clear the wave pretty quick, just throw down some saplings, throw down some harass, wait for the next wave, and then just go from there, really. There you go. Ward being cleared out. The Oracles is still there. Oracles is still present, but here comes the next wave. And you're going to have Ashe more damage. Smokescreen trying to obscure the vision just a little bit. But Skarner's a little bit too far out there. But you can see the mid-tier 2 is already at half. Malphite going in just for a few quick punches. And there's going to, you know, tank it out. Here comes the arrow once again, not getting anybody. But then again, that's just, you know, once again, dissuade him away. It's pretty short cooldown. Going to be back in about a minute and a half. But they can just go ahead and impose their will on the ALC. Dragons have taken, they can ravage the enemy jungle. They have, once the Ashe comes up, they still have more initiation. They still got Alistar. You still got Maokai. If someone's a little bit too far out, that could be game.
Yeah, and the big thing is they can't force a fight outside of their base. ALC can't. So TT Dragons, they can just constantly push, just wear down these towers, and then once the towers are low, ALC immediately, they have to retreat because they know that Ashe can just throw off an arrow and, you know, pick up a kill there. Alistar trying to maybe come in from behind, so they have to back off and just play
he may actually
defensively.
Just try and flash over the wall to try and get something. But there you go, Skarner being caught a little bit too far away from the rest of the team. There you go, Shirley's being popped. And there you go, Blitzcrank out in front. There's a headbutt to keep the robot in. Pulverize, keeping everyone still. Double kill on the Mordekaiser. Ari's got out. The Spirit Rush trying to get away ever so desperately. Exhaust going down onto Graves, but I don't think he's actually going to get out of this one. Here comes Malphite to follow up, and there you go. 4 for free. That's going to be another tower. That's going to be inhib. This could be game.
Yeah, one by one picking him off. Alistar actually chasing after Ari there, trying to pick up the kill, and Ari gets him underneath the turret. But they do get the inhibitor here. And you saw how much burst damage Mordekaiser has, and now they're transitioning right into the Nexus. They're going to be able to get one, maybe even both Nexus turrets. I'm not sure they're going to be able to finish this, but it is going to be very close, and they are actually pushing it. Skarner chasing them. They have the volley to retreat, so very easily they can get out of there.
Skarner ult is up. He does pop the Shirelias. Who's he going to grab? Is he going to grab anyone? I don't think he is. There you go. Twisted Advance in response for the counter gig. Maokai ult is up for the protection, but Blitzcrank goes down immediately. Lee Sin with the shield to save the Skarner, but the flash from Mord not going to be getting anything off of that. Lee Sin still in this fight, but Ari does go down. Mord, quick burst coming in. There's Graves.
They're so low, but they're basically unkillable, and Ashe can just constantly allow them to retreat or engage. Lee Sin actually going to come in. No, not going to be able to get anyone.
You don't want to be kicking Ashe.
I thought he would shield over the wall and then jump onto Maokai.
Yeah.
But they will back off, and one Nexus turret's down. They can, once they go back into base, they can just come back, do the exact same thing again once their ults are up.
Lee Sin's hungry. He's dashing towards. He wants something, but there's Shirley's in response. Headbutt in the middle of everything, and there you go. Another quick burst of damage from Dragons. They may be low, but they are not out.
Oh, what? Wow, the ult missing Maokai. It went right over him.
Did he flash over it?
No,
think
he
didn't.
Yeah, I guess he did. Yes.
We'll look back.
He flashed over the ultimate, but Alistar with the headbutt pulverized the Maokai follow-up, and Maokai's probably going to go down here. He's very low. He does go down. Blitzcrank also with the silence, but Ashe is here. The Blitzcrank will go down. Graves is the only one left. Actually, Ari coming up, and Ari's ultimate is up. Ari could decide to chase down Ashe here, so Ashe kind of vulnerable in the mid lane, trying to chase out Graves, but can't quite get him. And yes, I believe if we let's take a look back.
We'll look back. We'll look back when we're done. We'll look back when we're done. Because
but I think you're right. He did flash over that ultimate.
I didn't even think that was possible. But there you go. Graves and Ari, this is their only chance to push right now while all of Dragons is backed. The Baron buff is gone, but still, though, there's such a commanding lead that the Dragons have. there's not really a whole lot that can be done now that everyone's healed. They're going back. They're shopping. It's still a bad spot for ALC to be in.
Their frontline team is just impossible for ALC to deal with, and they need to pick people off, but who you're going to pick off? It's really Ash is the only one you can grab, maybe even Mordekaiser, but the issue is Mordekaiser's always going to have his friends nearby.
Oh, yeah.
You know, they're such a tanky team. They have all this regen, so Mordekaiser, you know, he can regen a lot. Maokai with his passive can regen a lot. They're very tanky with the Maokai ultimate, so they're almost unkillable for as far as ALC is concerned right here, and just the fact that they have all the initiation potential, and that was the threat the entire game. And because ALC wasn't able to take any sort of significant advantage early on, or any advantage early on, you know, TT Dragons is just able to win this in the late game. So we'll see. You know, ALC, they still can hold off. They still can try and pick people off. You know, they have a good late game with Graves and RA. It's just they probably don't have enough damage to deal with TT's team.
But Baron should be coming back up, and if anything, Ness is going to go seal the deal pretty much. Sapling going to go down. Good nice little present to the Baron as he comes back, as he respawns. But right now, ALC, they're going to come by. They're going to find out that Baron has been started. There's the ward. There's the Ash arrow over wall. Malphite ult coming in as well. Blitz is going to melt immediately. Ari trying to do as much damage as possible. Here comes Mordekaiser. Does get impaled, but then dies immediately. Trying to Spirit Rush out DFG and the Mord ult onto Graves. He's in full retreat. Ash arrow gonna know exactly where he's heading off to.
It was basically just a 5v2 that they won.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, the rest of TT Dragons, they weren't there to follow it up. Graves actually doing some damage, has to back off from the minions. They would probably kill him if he just stood there. But they can push in the Nexus, and they didn't have the means of dealing with them in team fights. So TT Dragons, they will go on from the wild card. They will move into the bracket. So it's a 4-team bracket. There's the Nexus going down. TT Dragons, really nice play. And so 4 teams, Type A Assassins, Corsair,
Why Troll Me,
Why Troll Me, and TT Dragons.
Before we wrap up, we got to go back just a second, because I just want to go ahead and confirm that madness that happened earlier with the Graves ult. So I want to slow this down.
It just missed him. I was going to say, he flashed over the wall. It just missed him. It looked like it went right past him. I thought that's what happened. Yeah, it just... you know, sucks, but you know, it's not that it would have really made that much of a difference anyway. But yeah, that's kind of funny.
Just take a look at it one more time. You got Graves in retreat. There's the flash over from Maokai. Wow.
Yep.
You think that would actually hit him?
To be fair, this is a replay that we're looking up at of the qualifiers, so there is the potential that there was a graphical issue there.
There was, yeah.
You know, and that happens sometimes with projectiles where it looks like the projectile goes right through him. It might have just outright hit Maokai, and it just the health showing was wrong, and so he just barely lived. But still, it was fun to watch, and you know, TT Dragons, they're up front, you know, AoE initiating team. They're able to win again.
Yep, so we're going to continue on with the rest of this week. Tomorrow, Thursday, and Friday, we're going to have the semifinals and grand finals. Going to find out, you know, the team coming to IPL5. Type A Assassins still in, Why Troll Me, Corsair, and now Thermal Dragons. So I'm enjoying a lot of different play than what we're used to seeing in the NA scene. Gragas there, a lot of Skarner.
Yeah.
TF banned every game, pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, TF's banned a lot in NA and EU, but not anywhere near the same frequency that we've seen here. So, yeah, he is a very strong champion. He's a lot of fun to play.
Almost. I mean, I'm seeing like TF banned here, like nearly as much as like Aurelia used to be in like in the EU scene before her nerfs. Like it's practically like every game is insane.
Yep, there's been a lot of champions over time that
you
know have seen that. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching. Make sure to check out all the rest of our stuff. You know, on youtube.com/IPLLOL. Subscribe to our channels. Definitely, you know, appreciate it. And yeah, we'll be back tomorrow with the final brackets for the Taiwan qualifiers. Actually, later this evening we have a show match.
Yes,
so is it Fortnite versus Legion?
We'll have to go.
Probably not.
I'll have to go. Nick told me to schedule this morning, and I've already forgotten it.
Yeah, but so we are going to be doing some cool show matches this week.
Yep. So hey, we will be back. Always, and thank you for tuning in for the IPL stream. As always, IGN Pro League on Facebook and Twitter, IPL LOL, Twitch, and YouTube. IPL LOL replays for your replays. You know, if we use it, we'll use it in our videos. Good stuff. You can go ahead and go tell all your friends. But for now, though, we are pretty much done. And thank you guys for joining us. We'll see you next time.